Hello again, Peter Andrews. I understand that your friends and family call you PA. I've had enough encouragement that that suggests that I should go ahead and make a second video in my attempt to get your attention, partly from your son Archie, uh, and uh, and so I'm going to go on. I'm still going to try to keep this brief. What's going to be different, though, is now I'm not. I may not be so. Oh, I don't want to say polite. I'm the getting to know you and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go straight to a couple issues, which I really would like to deal with you. One of them, it's pretty easy to talk about. It's the carbon footprint of what's being done. The amount of fossil fuel required to build the structures that I've seen. Not so much what you have recommended and built, although I saw some of that, but a stunning example of this, if you would do the math, is a place called Tamara in Portugal. I think you probably know about it, where Zach Weiss, he at least once, maybe twice, flew across the Atlantic to be the resident expert. Sepp Holzer came down from Austria, and then when they actually got to work on that site, from what I saw, the amount of earth-moving machinery, I don't even know if I watched the whole thing really. 1 gallon of gasoline is the energy equivalent of about 250 man hours. And that's the level that I think. And if you're going to take that much fossil fuel and put that much CO2 into the atmosphere to build something, it really better be worth it. So anyway, I feel the same way about experts traveling all over from here to there to spread the word. Not now, it can be done online. So that's easy to talk about. And I think I maybe did mention it a little bit before. The harder part, well, it's fun though in a way, is I want to deal with the leaky weirs as opposed to something called prise d'eau. Now there again is a foreign word. It's French. Prise, P-R-I-S-E, is the French word for trap, and d'eau is D''E-A-U. That is of water. So we're talking about a trap of water, prise d'eau. That's these bisses that I suggested that you should take a look at. Where they get their water is from a prise d'eau. Underneath a glacier. They're sort of specialty items in that they're used where there's virtually no rainfall but lots of melting snow. So and to that extent, they're not like what you do. But the prise d'eau are like weirs. They're not dams. They're a spot in a natural water drain where the water can be caught and then diverted along these bisses, which then carry the water to some place where it's going to be used. I talked about that. Well, the leaky weirs that I see people building, due to your inspiration, first of all, I don't think they should leak. They should brim. If they leak it, and they really need to, they shouldn't just be a dam. They should be a raised spot in the natural drain, but there should always be a place on one side or both sides where water could be taken off. There's the prise d'eau. And in high water, the water just goes over the breast of the weir. To that, and if they leak a little bit, that's okay too. But there's your source of water, and you carry that water. It's hardest is to get it out of that natural drain, especially if it's a deep gully. But think of what they did in Switzerland. if you've looked at any of those videos about the priest, beast du Haut, for example, well, anyway, once you get it out of the gully, then you're out onto the flat and it's easier. And there you should run that water as close to a perfect contour as you can. Infiltration, seepage into the ground, makes it so you may have to slope it slightly. That's the first one. Now, if you open hatches along them, that can then let the water down to what I call zanjas. And the zanjas really should be on perfect contours. If the water won't go any further, well, you put a hatch in the end and you go down and you start again. And so you might think, well, what happens to the water? It's not going to all seep in. True. You have drop structures. Think of rice paddies. That ultimately would be what landscapes would look like if they used this process. They would develop ultimately into something like rice paddies. So prise d'eau, Prise, new word, d'Eau. It's not so useful. I mean, if you search it online, you'll see examples of it, but it's better to just think of it in association with those bisses and realize that, say, in Australia, in those streams, you could have the same thing. Where you get your water, you wouldn't build your weir straight across the gully. You would build it high enough to be able to catch water, and then you might run it down 100 yards longer, gradually keeping it on a perfect level so that the stream drops away from it. It's a little hard to explain this. I don't know, and I'm probably not doing a good job. But that's something, if people would do that. Oh, and you need to work when there's water there. That's your level. You only need a shovel and or a hoe and the water itself. Those are your tools. The water shows you where it will go and where it won't go, or where it will go too fast. Well, I'm probably going to stop at this point because I'm still waiting to see how interested you are in hearing this. So to sum up, two things: carbon footprint, that's got to be considered, and the other thing is a prise d'eau as opposed to leaky weirs, and I guess perfect contour. Well, this has been erratic, but for a second time, I'm offering you thoughts on your work. Bye for now.